Right, hello and welcome to the Zonal Weakness brought to you by Corner Football Fantasy, powered by Fantasy Football Scout. I hope everyone has had a very good game week and Merry Christmas. Of course, on the Christmas Eve, we are recording this, so I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone, those who are celebrating and those of you who are not celebrating still, a Merry Christmas to all of you, and I hope you all are having a great holiday. And of course, the festive fixtures is here, and so we are back for the zonal weakness. And this week we are going to cover Game Week 18, and of course, during the holidays we will be off as well. So very soon we will also be recording the Game Week 19 as well. So do keep an eye on our channel, and of course, you'll get all the data related to the zonal weakness. So let's get started with the zonal for Game Week 18 first. And here is the Game Week 18, and as you know, we are producing regular content. So if you haven't followed, liked, or subscribed, please do so. You'll find our content on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So please do so. And all the data that you see are taken from Fantasy Football Scout. And of course, during the Christmas period, there's a bit of leeway and of course discount that's kind of given. So please do click. And of course, there's a lot of fixtures coming. So please feel free to click in the link in the description below and you'd get a certain percent of discount. So yeah, obviously we look forward to you signing because this is now the time to gain ranks because the game weeks are going to come thick and fast. And yeah, you could, a couple of good game weeks and you could really have a very good rank very soon. Yeah, and of course, even if there is a bit of a disappointment, you don't have too much time to think about it because the next game week is just around the corner. So that makes it even better and useful, right? Okay, so let's get started with the zonal weakness. And of course, this is the table that you can see right now. And what we get started first is, of course, the most anticipated fixture. It's Liverpool versus Wolves, and obviously Wolves are leaky down the center as well as in the left. And in the center, it's 𝐸𝐸, who's been showing good form recently, scoring goals for the last 2 game weeks. And this week, again, looks to be a good opportunity for him with 19 chances considered down the center and ranked third. So this is where 𝐸𝐸 will occupy. But again, in the left flank, this is where the weakest is. And of course, Salah is not here. He's playing the AFCON, so 𝐸𝐸 will be the one who will be occupying most likely this particular space. 28 chances considered and are ranked worst. So this is an opportunity for those of you who would like to take a punt on the player who is going to occupy this particular position. We are not here to predict any of the team lineup. Please do make your own analysis. And of course, there are quite a number of content creators who are producing this sort of content about predicting teams. Do give them a follow, and of course, you will be able to understand who occupies this particular zone for Liverpool in absence of Salah. And I think that would be a very wonderful pick or a good 1 week punt. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next fixture, which is, of course, Brighton versus Arsenal. And again, Brighton looks a little bit vulnerable down the 2 flanks, right and the left. And as you can see, it's Martinelli and Trossard who are likely to do well down the right flank because this is where Brighton seems to have considered 22 chances and are ranked third worst. But also down the left flank, seems to be the most weakest for Brighton. And this is where Saka is going to do well this week, particularly with 28 chances considered. And of course, they are the worst side when it comes to this particular zone. So yeah, Saka could be a good one. And of course, those of you who have Bruno Fernandes in his absence, he could be our ideal replacement, obviously, if you have the money, of course. Moving on to the next fixture, which is again Manchester City versus Nottingham Forest. And as you can see, the right flank is the one where Nottingham Forest has shown a lot of vulnerability recently. And they've considered 22 chances and are ranked third, and this is where Foden is likely to play. Last game week, Foden's assist was provided, but unfortunately, Haaland just seemed to have not been able to take the chance clearly, then got the rebound, and of course, then he managed to score. So Foden missed out of an assist opportunity, but again, he did look very sharp in that match, so I wouldn't rule him out either. Cherky and Rangers slightly missing out from the left side this week because at least our parameter is till game week 5, till worst 5 ranks. So this is where Cherky and Rangers are going to play, where Nottingham Forest is ranked 7th, not 5th. So if it had been 5th, we would have probably colored it. But again, that does not mean that Nottingham Forest are really strong in this particular zone. The numbers suggest that they are still very weak, and here they have considered 20 chances and are ranked 7th. So this could be a good opportunity. In terms of the headed considered, yeah, Alan could again do well. And he's in great form, of course. So 17 headed considered from the center, and they're ranked 4th. So Nottingham Forest looks a little bit vulnerable in the air, but also in the right flank and in the left flank. In the center, however, things look a little bit much more stronger and solid from Nottingham Forest's perspective. Next one is, of course, the match that most of you will probably be looking forward to, because a lot of you have Fulham assets, and Fulham is, of course, playing West Ham. And as you can see, there's a lot of green here, and West Ham seems to be vulnerable from the left, from the right, from the center, from the headed conceded, from the crosses, as well as from the left flank and the right flank. And you can clearly see that 25 chances have been conceded down the right flank, 24 chances have been considered down the left flank, and ranked 2nd and 3rd respectively. And these are 3rd and 2nd worst team, of course, ranks. So here, of course, Robinson could do well, along with Jimenez, along with Harry Wilson. So where they're ranked 3rd. But again, Jimenez scored a penalty last game week. So in the center, they also look very weak. And they're the worst in terms of number of chances considered down the center, West Ham, and they have considered 20 chances. So that's where, again, Jimenez could be again in the score sheet this week. So those of you who are thinking of taking a punt on Jimenez, this could be a good week, particularly targeting West Ham. Leeds is playing against Sunderland, and of course, they are both a newly promoted side. Leeds is struggling. Sunderland is kind of somewhere in the middle of the table. But yeah, Leeds doesn't really show a lot of vulnerability here, except the right wing. And this is where they have considered 20 chances and are ranked 3rd. So Adingra and Hume could do really well. Sunderland could do well. So yeah, I wouldn't really rule them out either, Adingra. But when it comes to Sunderland, they see their defensive numbers, despite their very good performances and low blocks, their defensive numbers are nearly not looking very promising at this moment. At least the Zonal suggests so. They've considered 37 chances down the right flank and are ranked worst. This is where Okafor and Goodmanson will play. Calvert-Lewin, who scored a brace last game week down the center, could again be on the score sheet against Sunderland, as they have considered 20 chances and are ranked worst. But Aronson and Bogle could also do well down the left flank, as this is where Sunderland have actually considered 23 chances and are ranked 4th. In terms of the headed considered, I think Calvert-Lewin again has a very good chances of scoring and putting his name in the score sheet, because Sunderland have actually considered 19 chances and are ranked 2nd. And of course, in terms of the crosses from the left and the right flank, 73 and 76 ranked 2nd respectively, or the 2nd worst respectively. So I wouldn't really rule out the fact that Okafor, Goodmanson, Aronson, and Bogle could also find themselves in the assist sheet as well. Now, Burnley plays Everton, and Everton last week was a bit of a disappointment for them, having lost the match. But this week could be, again, a good chances for those of us who own Tarkowski. I think this could be another good opportunity for them to actually keep a clean sheet. And Everton seems to be promising, particularly due to the fact that Burnley have actually considered 19 chances down the center and are ranked 3rd worst. This is where Barry will play, so you can get a lot of more chances. But Grealish, you can't really rule him out, particularly from this fixture, because of the fact that, from the right flank, the number of crosses that you can see that Burnley have considered, which is 67, and they're ranked 4th worst. So I wouldn't really surprise Michaelenko and Grealish to be, I wouldn't really rule them out in terms of the assists that we could expect from this game. Aston Villa versus Chelsea. And yeah, not much really standing out there, except the fact that down the center, we could see a bit of a Palmer magic. And of course, Yao Pedro could do well because this is where Aston Villa have conceded 17 chances and are ranked 8th. Aston Villa is in great form, having not lost the last 10 matches and did very well against Manchester United again. So they have beaten more or less all the big teams and are just 1 point down below Manchester City. So that's interesting. So they would like to keep that winning momentum there. But this match would probably be a big challenge for them. And yeah, so I wouldn't really expect much. But again, Palmer and Neto could again do well, given that they have a little bit of weakness down the center and down the left flank. In terms of the crosses, yeah, this is where Garnacho or Cucurella could do well, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see as to how that happens. Moving on to the next slide, which is the Zonal 𝐙𝐸 𝐖𝐞𝐚𝐤 18, and I'm not going to touch upon all the other teams except the ones that are in green. It's Brentford versus Bournemouth, and at least Brentford looks to be solid defensively, or at least showing good numbers here, zonal-wise. But from the right flank is where they are showing a little bit of weakness, and Semenyo, with now it's confirmed that he's planning to move to Manchester City. Yeah, not sure if his head is going to be in the right place, but again, I think, honestly speaking, if I feel, I think this could be his last few matches, so he could really, before he leaves and departs Bournemouth, I think this is a good chance. But if the manager feels he might not need to play, then he might be benched. But I am not predicting anything here. But what we see from the numbers, if Semenyo is to occupy this particular position, 58 crosses considered and are ranked 5th worst. So yeah, he could again find himself in the score sheet. Newcastle versus Manchester United, and this is where Newcastle is showing good numbers here. So I wouldn't really be expecting too much from Manchester United assets, except for the number of crosses. So Cunha and Dorgu could do well with 69 crosses conceded from Newcastle, and they're ranked 3rd worst. So that's something that to look out for. So those of you who are moving to Cunha, just know that this particular fixture seems to be posing a little bit of threat. But I think our fixtures really improve after that for Manchester United, so that form could continue. And of course, winning this particular match would also boost their confidence, given the fact that Bruno Fernandes is not there now that he's suffered a hamstring injury. Tottenham versus Crystal Palace, and again, Tottenham really looking good here from the zonal numbers. But in terms of the crosses down the right flank, this is where Pino and Mitchell could do well with 58 crosses conceded by Tottenham, and of course, they are ranked 5th worst. Finally, it's Fulham versus Leeds, and yeah, not much again, except Fulham have conceded 63 crosses down the left flank and are ranked 4th. So Bowen may be able to chip in a few crosses and might find himself in the score sheet. Right, let's see and have a look at the team of the week. And here it is. Not much surprise, to be honest, except I find that Stack has made himself into the team. It's a little bit of a surprise for me, to be honest, but I think it's worth, because it's entirely based on zonal, and we kind of predict, we don't try to favor anybody except the ones that are in the top 5. So Calvert-Lewin, obviously, we know. Ekitike, of course. Lefi, Foden, we've already discussed. Harry Wilson and Saka, we've discussed as well. Stack is the one that's surprising to me a little bit. Timber, no surprise, likely a clean sheet, but again, in terms of the crosses, Virgil van Dijk, yeah, could do well, particularly with Wolves. But yeah, it's Robinson again. We know it. We have already discussed that. So this team looks quite not as strong as we would suggest. But again, the numbers suggest these are the players that could really do well using and exploiting the weaknesses of the opponents in terms of the zonal weaknesses that we have just seen. Right? All right. Thank you so much for joining today. Yeah, this is it. And we'll be back again for Game Week 19. But before I leave, I'd like to take this opportunity again to thank everyone and wish everyone Merry Christmas. Have a good year. And yeah, we'll see you before the new year with the Game Week 19 video, which will come out very soon within a day or two. But until then, take care. Bye-bye.